Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma Davidov, and it is a very hot and sunny day in New York City, so I thought it would be a perfect time to show you my summer drugstore full face of makeup. I feel like all my intros have been sort of long lately, so we're just gonna dive right in. Also because my face is just, it's naked. It's a naked face, and I don't need it to be naked. So to start off, we are going to be using the Biore UV Watery Essence SPF 50+, PA+++++, what does that mean? I don't know. This is the Aqua Rich Sunscreen. I actually heard of this because I was watching AOC's little Vogue makeup thing, and she mentioned that this has no white cast, which is very important, especially for darker skin tones, so I thought I would try it out. I mean, not that I'm a darker skin tone, I'm pale as hell, but I figured I would try it anyway. This really does have no white cast. Sunscreen, as I'm sure you know, is super, super important. We've got to make sure we put it on all parts of our face, from our eyes to our lips to our chinny chin chins. Please make sure you are always properly UV protected. Also, it is super important that you put on sunscreen under your makeup, because by way of doing that, you allow it to sort of sink in before you head out into the sun, instead of just sort of spraying it on your face when you're finished with your makeup and heading out the door. Because fun fact, sunscreen takes a little bit of time to activate, so it is better to let it sit before you step outside. Moving on, we are going to be using a product that I have literally been using since middle school. So that is eight years. This is the Maybelline Dream BB Fresh Cream. This is slightly a newer version that I used when I was in middle school. It is with pomegranate extract, and it also has an SPF of 30, so we're just really getting it all in there. I usually just squeeze out a little bit on my hand and apply to the face in sections with my finger. And then I'm going to blend it out with a beauty blender. Slightly different from the application method I had in middle school, which was to go like this and go like that. But, you know, to each their own, but I personally don't think that's super effective. This is definitely a lightweight formula. It is a BB cream. It's not opaque, but it does really even the skin tone, and it feels super lightweight. And it's pretty and it's well priced. Next, we'll step in with a cult favorite. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Multi-Use Concealer. I am using the shade 100 Ivory. You just sort of stamp this out with the nice little applicator here. I'm also going to use it to spot conceal a little bit of stuff I have going on around my chin. It also is lighter than the foundation color, so it does somewhat work as a bit of a highlight on the chin as well. Now I'm just going to blend all of that out with my beauty blender. You'll also notice that I'm going to take the concealer and take a little bit of the extra and just dab it on the eyelids, just to serve as a nice little base for our eye look and a bit of a primer. That's also going to cancel out any redness or veins or anything like that that might be poking through. Next, we are going to dip into our L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Powder. I'm using the shade N1 Soft Ivory. So I'm just grabbing sort of a loosely packed tapered brush, and I'm going to dip it in here and just put a fair amount under the eyes to make sure we set our concealer. And then I'm just sort of going to dab around the rest of my face, making sure that everything is sort of properly set, not using too much product, just trying to keep things locked in. Next, I'm going to take the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is also a big favorite. Some of these products you may have heard of before, but you know what? They get a good rep because they're good products. This is in a 6675 light bronzer. I also love this sort of packaging. Like, are you kidding? So fun, so neon. It does sort of smell like a bottle of Malibu, but if you can get over that, then you're gonna love this. I'm just taking a densely packed angled brush and I'm gonna go ahead and put it where I wanna create some shadows in my face. During the summer, I tend to kind of like to contour with a bronzer because it's just really sort of light and easy and fresh and it doesn't look like too much. And we just sort of wanna seem like a tanned, natural goddess. Like, we're not going for full face, even though the title of this video is in fact full face. Gonna also drag it around the perimeter of my face, sort of trying to slim her out, and then around the jawline. Next, I'm going to take a small eyeshadow brush. This is the Pro Small Shadow 15 from Sephora, and I'm going to just give a slight contour to my nose with the same bronzer. I'm also gonna make sure to put a fair amount right here in these little dips in my nose, because this is just sort of going to shorten your nose and give you that cute little doll nose effect. I also like to draw a little line here so that the tip of the nose sticks out. And if you feel like it is not blended all the way, take a big densely packed brush and just voila. Next, we're going to go in with a little bit of blush. I have in front of me the Milani Baked Blush in Coralina. This blush has been well loved. You can tell by the fact that when you open it, this part just completely comes out. The blush has a nice sort of silver shift in it, which is not something I would normally go for because I prefer warm tones on myself, but for some reason it just works. It's very cute and I feel like it works as somewhat of a highlight too. I'm applying this with just an angled blush brush, primarily to the higher apples of the cheeks, and then also drawing it up the cheekbone. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a brow. I normally don't really fill in my brows during the summer, so I don't have a drugstore product for this use. But what I do have is a brown drugstore eyeshadow that I'm going to use as a brow powder. This is the Koki High Pigment Wet and Dry Eyeshadow in Ombretto. So to apply this to the brow, all I'm going to do is take this flat, sort of very thin brush, tap it in, and then I'm just sort of going to stamp it into the outside parts of my brow. I really enjoy Koki shadows. I don't know that they necessarily count as American drugstore. They are an international brand. I picked up these shades when I was in Italy. But I do think it's not impossible to grab them if you are here in the US. So if you want to give them a try, I highly recommend. I'm then just going to use my Anastasia Brow Definer to brush out my brows. I always brush them all the way up as if I am doing some sort of fabulous editorial photo shoot. And then I drag across the top just to take away the little hairs that are making it slightly too much. And that gives me the most volume I can have in my brows. The next thing we are going to do is begin our eye look. We are going to begin it with another Koki shadow. This is the shade 19 and it is just kind of an awesome canary yellow. I did match my nail color to it just in case you want to appreciate that. I'm going to start by taking a MAC 217 and I am just going to put this all through the crease. She is pigmented if you cannot see for yourself. Next, I'm going to take the Wet n Wild palette. This is in the shade Not a Basic Peach. That's funny. I think this is a really good color layout. We've got one nice blue, which we'll see how well that works. But otherwise, it's got some cute shimmers and a few nice neutral mattes. I generally like the Wet n Wild formula, so let's check her out. I'm going to start by taking the gold shade and packing it on top of the lid with my finger. This has actually a really, really nice bright yellow gold reflection. I think it goes perfectly with the Kiko shadow. Next, I'm going to just deepen up the edge a little bit. I'm going to take that same brush that I took in the Kiko one, and I'm going to dip it in this sort of orangey shade right there. And I'm just applying this softly to the edge of the look. Next, I'm going to pull in that same Pro Small shadow brush, and I'm going to dip it in that same orange shade and just drag it under the lower lash line. This does have a fair bit of fallout, you can like kind of see here. But the shadows are quite pigmented, so that's the reason why. Isn't that just a gorgeous eyeshadow face that I was making just then? Love seeing that. The next thing we're going to do is use the LA Girl Perfect Precision Eyeliner. This is in the shade Brown. I'm just going to draw this on my top line and give it a slight little bit of a flick. And now that I have my eyeliner on, I'm going to go ahead and move on to highlighter. This is the Milani Flashing Light in Hypnotic Lights. This is primarily a light gold champagne-y highlighter, but it has somewhat of a cool opalescent shift. It's really, really minimal, but it's there. I'm going to take a really thin tapered brush and go ahead and apply this to my inner corners. I'm also going to add it to the tip of my nose, the bow of my lips, and then I'm going to take the Pro Highlight 98 from Sephora and apply it to the high points of my cheeks. Do you see that? Do you see that? If you feel like this is a little bit too intense, always take your big dense brush and just, ooh, see how it just softens that glow? You are soft, you are glamorous. Next, we're going to dip into some mascara. I have two mascaras to show you. That's four. I have two mascaras to show you. The first is the Maybelline Great Lash in Big. So this is different than the other mascara that looks like this. This one is supposed to give you a lot more volume, but actually it doesn't really give you that much volume at all, but it gives you crazy length. So I'm going to show you this. I use this sort of for more natural wispy lashes. The second mascara I'm going to show you, I'm going to apply just sort of on top of this for the sake of having each eye in symmetry. I also did get some flecks of mascara on my eyeshadow. I always forget how liquidy this one is. It literally kind of can fly off the brush. So I'm just going to wait for those spots to dry and then I will scrape them off. But secondly, it's literally in my lap, we have the Sephora Big Volume Lash Craft. This does give you big volume. I know that Sephora is not a drugstore, but this is a $14 mascara, so it counts. want a great big secret for how to keep your lashes very voluminous but also separated, get a tool like this. I got this one from Morphe. It's the M221, and you literally just go from above and comb through your lashes. Last but not least, I'm going to show you a lip. This lipstick is the Rimmel London shade 08 Rosetto, and I'm just going to apply it. I'm then going to blot off a little bit of the excess on my hand, like that. And I am just going to finish up with the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Lip Gloss in the shade Unsubscribe. Coincidental, because I am going to ask you to please subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed the content. Also ring the bell if you want to be notified of when my videos are coming out. But yeah, no, don't unsubscribe. I like this gloss because it feels very moisturizing, it's not sticky at all, and it's got a really pretty rosy copper tone to it. We're going to finish off this look with a little bit of the Pixi Hydrating Milky Mist. I am just going to spray it copiously because, you know, we want to be glowy in this house. That's just what we want. This has hyaluronic acid as a main ingredient, and if you guys don't know what that is, it's a really, really awesome ingredient that brings all sorts of moisture to your skin without being an oil in itself. So if you have acne-prone skin, if you have dry skin, it's a good ingredient for you, anybody. So this is the final look. I'm feeling very cute, very summer. I'm loving the yellow eye. Really hope that you guys like this video and that you enjoy some of the products that I am recommending to you. Please let me know if there are more videos that you want to see like this. And one more time, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys in my next video.